In the history of biogeography, we will be discussing about the origin of modern historical biogeography. Whenever we talk about the historical biogeography, we have talked about that earlier. We talk about the history of the organism, that how one organism was developed in one particular area and how it migrated to or another area and where it is found now. So the dispersal of life was the original theory, and the could organism have dispersed across ocean to reach these scattered locations? That was one question that biogeographists uh, asked with each other. The Wegener's theory of continental drift had provided an explanation to this conundrum early in 20th century. So it was Wegener's theory in early 20th century. He gave the idea that the continental drift is happening after the Pangea split into the different continents. And that is explaining how the organisms are found in different continents, despite having the same origin. In 1960s, strong new evidence for the mechanisms for the Wegener's theory, now renamed plate tectonics, led to the acceptance of this reality of phenomena. Even though Wegener did not have any evidence for those particular, other than the biological evidence of the fossils that he had, his explanation was later ratified by the another theory which is called plate tectonics in the 1960s. So it was only now that geologists were able to provide a series of paleogeographic map that showed from the Silurian period onward the changing pattern of association of the various tectonic plates. So earlier, if we talked about the past maps or past geography, the continents were as they were in the today's in the past maps. The continents were seen as we see them today, but after the plate tectonics theory, they were joining the continents as well in the history. So they were just combining the geographic data of the past with the biological data of the past, which is paleontological evidence, and then they were studying the biogeography in more comprehensive way. So biogeographers had tried to analyze the biogeography of the past according to different geological periods. The new maps identify stretches of time within which the geographical pattern had remained constant. So there were times when the geographical patterns were the same and they were studying them now more comprehensively. And the biogeographer had to summate the floras and faunas from every locality within each of the resulting paleocontinents. So paleocontinents are the ancient continents, and they were now looking on those paleocontinents and now doing the summation of them. If the India was part of Africa, they were now looking that in that particular period as the same continent. So element of that and these fauna and floras showing clear evidence of endemicity. So that means the organism that are living in the India today or in the Africa today, they are endemic to both of these areas because India was part of Africa at certain point. So endemicity means that the endemic organism, how an organism is endemic or native to one particular area. So, for example, the elephant, the ancestor of modern day elephant, and the African elephant were the same, and they were living in the those part of the Africa which are, for example, the southeastern part of the Africa and India today. And here you can see the paleogeographical map of Carboniferous Lower Permian period of time as constructed in 1973. The seas and oceans are tinted blue. So here you can see the Angara, Kath, Ia, and Gondwana. These are the different parts of the Pangea which are having split at that time in the Carboniferous and late Permian period, and they you can see that how they were different, and there are some fossil evidence that can be shown in the same stretch of the lands even today. And then there is the paleobiogeography, and the paleo means ancient. The biogeography, when we study the biogeography in ancient time, that is paleobiogeography. At long last, the biogeographer could build up a coherent, increasing detail of the detailed set of picture of geography of the world over many million of years. So combining the geographical or the paleogeographical data with the biological fossil record, they were able to form a really good science in the paleobiogeography. And the two most important things that they helped in them, one of them was the first one was cladistics. It provided a rigorous methodology for analyzing the patterns of evolutionary relationship between the different members of a group. uh, to develop cladistics, or to analyze this, the characters used in this evaluation were uh, morphological ones. So this was having some drawbacks as well. But these drawbacks were covered by the later molecular systematics. The DNA and proteins provide confidence in the accuracy of reconstruction of the pattern of evolutionary divergence of the group under study. So there is molecular evidence which tells us that when two species were diverged, or when did they when did they separated from each other, to indicate the times at which different branching event took place. So in this way, we are helping the paleobiography as well, in which we are studying the ancient organism in the ancient flora and fauna of the ancient time.